What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video, well, I'm back. Hello! We have Chandelure and the Goat paired with the Tapu Fini. Double Ghost Fire is back, and we are sweeping teams today. It was a lot of fun, and we do face off against a lot of core breakers like Credilli or Unova Stunfisk. This team was a lot of fun to play, and there was a lot of great sweeps. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this team. How is the Great League Remix Cup going for you? Let's go and get right into it. Alright, getting into the first battle, we have Tapu Fini on the lead versus Credilli. This is a tough Pokemon to face off against. We're going to go ahead and go into the Alolan Marowak here, because I want to save the Tapu Fini for something that they might have in the back that needs to pair well with Chandelure. And in this case, Rock Slide isn't enough to KO us, and they can't farm us down with fast moves. And now they decide to swap into Toxicroak, which is perfect, because I'm going to get myself shield advantage here, as I can easily go for double Shadow Bones. There's a shield right there. We get the defense drop as well, which now forces them to shield twice. The Shadow Bone might not KO, but now with the defense drop it probably would, especially with those added fire spins. So now you are probably guessing what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come in with Tapu Fini. I'm gonna no shield the Sludge Bomb, and we're going for the Chandelure sweep. This is what we're doing. We're trusting in the boom. We're going to go ahead and swap into Chandelure. We will have to shield a Mud Bomb here, but that is okay. Credilli is, I don't think, has enough energy for a Rock Slide yet, but it is getting close. But they have no shields, and we got 2 Incinerates through right there. We should be able to get 3. Yep, here's a third one. They decide to try to fast swap into a Buzzwole, which is not going to work out for them. So Chandelure here is going to be taking this as Flame Charge. Boom! Takes out the Buzzwole, and now we can safely shield the Rock Slide here from Credilli and go for the boosted Shadow Ball, as Flame Charge boosts our own attack. And now Shadow Ball is going to be hitting like a truck from Chandelure. You love to see it. Boom! One-shots the Credilli. This is the video. Booms all over the place. All right, we got Tapu Fini versus Mantine. Okay, so another Pokemon very good against our backline, but doesn't do too well against Tapu Fini, especially if it doesn't have Aerial Ace. Typically, they will have Bubble Beam and Ice Beam, which I'm totally fine with because we resist everything. We have Moonblast for neutral damage. Now, this is going to be a long, drawn-out fight because of the Bubble Beam debuffs. They're constantly going to be lowering our attack, which means we're going to do less and less damage. But it's going to be okay because we can keep Tapu Fini alive. We don't have to give up any shields. And we can easily swap into a Alolan Marowak once we take down the Mantine to clear the debuffs. That's what happens if you get a Bubble Beam debuff or you get a boost on your side. Any kind of buff or debuff, when you swap out, it clears it. Now we land the Surf right there, which is going to give us the opportunity to Water Gun down to have a good amount of energy on the back end, which once again we will clear. So we're going to go ahead and farm down. Now we're going to see what they decide to swap in with. It's going to be a Galvantula. So obviously coming in Alolan Marowak, and they got a Hypno! Oh man, their backline. Thank goodness we got rid of the Mantine because their backline is extremely weak to Fire and Ghost. I got really giddy when I saw the Galvantula and then the Hypno swap, and it's like, this couldn't be more perfect. So we're going to go ahead and shield. It is just going to be Thunder Punch, and we can get to another Shadow Bone in time. And then I'm going to leave it to Chandelure to sweep this game. That's the whole point of this team. If you get yourself into shield disadvantage, you're typically going to lose. That is what I found whenever I run like a Double Ghost backline. The traditional Double Ghost would be Azumarill, Sableye, and Alolan Marowak. But in this case, I'm running Chandelure and Alolan Marowak. If you guys don't have Chandelure or you don't have Alolan Marowak, try Cofagrigus if you guys have that. But we're going to go ahead and shield the Thunder Punch. They decide to come in with Galvantula, so we're going to go ahead and go for the Incinerate right away because I think that might have been the 3rd Volt Switch. It might have only been 2. But now we can safely look to go for another Flame Charge here against Hypno, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. So Chandelure sweeping once again. Boom, takes it out. This team was so satisfying and fun to use. Got some good rating out of it as well. Okay, Unova Stunfisk. This is a core breaker and a half. I'm telling you, if you guys face off against this thing, it's going to be incredibly tough to take down. But what I want to do is save shields for the back line, Now I'm going to go ahead and go for the Surf, but they swap into a Shadow Credilli, which is also a core breaker. So not only do I have to deal with the Stunfisk, I have to deal with the Credilli. One of them on their own is already tough enough. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and shield, and then I'm going to try to farm down here with Incinerate so that I have a Shadow Ball on the back end to even up shields. So I'm going to go ahead and go for that Shadow Ball right away, as the Stunfisk is likely going to be coming back in, which it does. So Shadow Ball here should get a shield from my opponent. I could have gone for Flame Charge, but I was worried that they actually wouldn't shield, predicting that they could tank a Flame Charge, and I desperately need a shield in order to win this game. Now we're going to go ahead and let the Mud Bomb go through, and this is, it's like, what do you come in with? The Pancake is at 50% health. I have a Tapu Fini with no health and an Alolan Marowak. So I'm going to come in with the Tapu Fini. I'm going to force them to throw, and then I'm going to trust an Alolan Marowak to potentially sweep. Let's see if we can do this. We're going to come in. We have Fire Spin, which is neutral damage. They're going to go ahead and go for the Mud Bomb. I don't know what's in the back, but obviously I got to shield this. I can tank one Mud Bomb. We can't tank two, but it's a Charizard in the back, and unfortunately, we won't be able to get to 2 Shadow Bones in time. And even if we have to get to 3 actually to take it out, because the first one is not enough to take them down. So now I have to commit to the farm down. There's still a shield on my opponent's side. And the only way I win this is if they go for Dragon Claw here, but they went for Blast Burn, which is the better call. It does more damage, and now they go for a Dragon Claw as well. So that's going to be a good game, very well played. Very tough to come back from right there, considering we had a Stunfisk and a Credilli to try to take down. And honestly, if I get that farm down and go back-to-back Shadow Bones, we win. But good game. All right, we got Dunsparce here on the lead. Obviously something we want to take out with Tapu Fini because our backline doesn't, I mean, it would still do okay. We have fire neutral damage, right? But we don't want to get hit with Rock Slides and Drill Runs. So we're going to go ahead and stay with the Tapu Fini and look to do as much damage as we can. Now I'm going to go ahead and go for Surfs here. I want to chip down health, especially if they decide to give up shields. Moonblast would obviously do a lot more damage, but I figure if I can just chip down the health and then come in and farm down, that might be more advantageous to me than and potentially getting a shield as well. So we're going to go ahead and look to go for the Surf now. This should be enough damage to take out the Dunsparce, and if they do shield, which they do, I got to swap out into a Alolan Marowak because I don't want to get farmed down. That's the dangerous thing, is when you give too much energy to something that core breaks your team. So we're going to go ahead and shield the Drill Run. They will get to a second one in time, which is okay. I mean, ideally I wanted to farm down there, but we can survive a Drill Run. No worries there. Let's see what comes in. It's a Quagsire! Alright, so we have a Dunsparce and a Quagsire. Talk about core break in my backline. We're going to go ahead and go for Shadow Bone. We get a shield and we get a defense drop here. So the only play left is to let the goat go down. The play is to come in with Chandelure and Shadow Ball. Let's see if we can do it. Remember, Dunsparce is out of the game. We don't know what the final Pokemon is. We know this Quagsire has Mud Bomb, but they also got the defense drop. So we're going to go ahead and go for Shadow Ball right away. And thankfully, they didn't swap out, and we're going to find out why real quick. Boom! One shot to Quagsire. The final Pokemon was a Hypno! Chandelure, get to the Shadow Ball in time, and we do. A beautiful sweep right here against a team that was matching up very well against us. Boom! Takes out the Hypno. And that is going to be a good game, very well played. Again, I had so much fun trying this team. You guys know how much I love Alolan Marowak, the greatest Pokemon of all time. And I love these Double Ghost lines. Typically, like I said, you want to run it with the Azumarill, but this is the Great League Remix Cup, where Azumarill is banned. So against a Jellicent here, we have to no-shield the Shadow Ball. Once again, another Pokemon that can do very well against our whole team because it has the water typing to resist our water moves, and it has the Surf and Shadow Ball for super effective damage. Now, thankfully, we landed the Moonblast there. So what we're going to do is going to let the Tapu Fini go down, but now I have to swap out into the Alolan Marowak and save my Tapu Fini for a potential sack swap because Surf was not enough to KO. So now I got to give up a shield. It is just going to be a Surf, unfortunately, and they decide to swap out now into Dugong, and here it comes. This is why you don't sleep on the goat. Fire Blast coming through right here. Boom! Nearly one-shots the Dugong, and we will be able to, I think I decide to let this go. Maybe I should have shielded and farmed down, but I decided to let the goat go through. We're going to come in with Chandelure, fully trusting that they are weak in the back. Hopefully, we come in with Chandelure. We get the Incinerate. Next Pokemon. Look at the top right. It's Ice Steel. It's Alolan Sandslash. Incinerates are shredding through, but no, it hangs on. And unfortunately, I only have a little bit of health. I get an Incinerate through, but I get Hex down. Surf versus Hex, and they KO me. Oh, I lined that up perfectly. I lined it up perfectly. And unfortunately, the Incinerate was not enough damage to take out the Alolan Sandslash. It had 1 health point remaining. And looking back at that, once it didn't KO it, I should have swapped to Tapu Fini to try to get a quick water gun in. That was really my only win con in between the Shadow Claws, because if I swap and catch the damage right away, the water gun doesn't go through. So it's tough. It's tough. But now we have a Dunsparce. That was a really exciting game, and I was so happy when I saw the Alolan Sandslash, and then I got devastated when I got fast moved down. Alright, we got a Dunsparce here on the lead that we fully water gun after landing the Moonblast, which is perfect. And we see a Clefable in the back. So we're going to go ahead and go for Surf. And then we're going to be swapping out into a Alolan Marowak, as I do not want to get farmed down. And this is a very good matchup for me as we resist the Meteor Mash and the Moonblast. Now in comes a Charizard, which is perfectly fine as well, because we can do a lot of damage with Shadow Bone here, and we get to it relatively quickly. And Chandelure is still going to have a good time in the back. Now, this is the tough question. I'm going to go ahead and shield. It is going to be a Dragon Claw, unfortunately, so it wasn't a Blast Burn there. But now they go for back-to-back, and I thought, you know what? That's another Dragon Claw, which it was. Perfect. Now we can get this Shadow Bone off. Switch Clock should be coming up soon. Let's see. No, it's not up just yet, but they decide to let it go. They let it go through, and they throw the energy right here. I think they were very concerned, or maybe they were reading that I was extremely weak in the back to Clefable, which I am not. I have a Chandelure, and that is going to be a good game. And I swap into Tapu Fini to try to catch the charge move, but they surrender. Good game. All right, Tapu Fini versus Galvantula. So obviously we got to swap out here into Alolan Marowak, get ahead on energy, and they go for 2 Volt Switches. Now they come in with the Shadow Granbull. So this is something that actually we can handle pretty well and get ourselves shield advantage, which is very, very important. So we're going to go ahead and go for 1. We get the shield. We're going to go for the 2, but I throw it at the wrong time. I throw it at the wrong time. I should have thrown it before, so I have to let this go. I don't want to give up a shield there. Come in with Tapu Fini. Switch Clock is not back up yet either. I am fumbling this game around. Galvantula comes in and has a charge move ready to go. I'm going to no-shield it. It is going to be Cross Poison, which is not enough to take me out. I do get the Surf off, and then we're going to look to go into Chandelure right away. We get the final shield as well, so Chandelure with 2 shields looking to sweep. There's not a lot in this meta that can survive in a 1-0 shield behind on energy against a Chandelure. So let's find out what's in the back. Galvantula gets farmed down. Final Pokemon. We will never know. They decided to surrender. Good game. All right. Moving into the next one here. We have Tapu Fini on the lead versus Wigglytuff. Okay. Another Fairy on Fairy here on the lead. So let's see how they decide to play this. They're looking to stay in, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and swap out into a Alolan Marowak now. And then we get a Steelix swap in, which is really nice for us because we can win this mid-game matchup, especially if Shadow Bone lands, and we can get to it relatively quickly. We're also doing super effective damage with Fire Spin, and we get a defense drop. Everything is lined up perfectly here for Alolan Marowak, as we will safely shield the Crunch and then farm down with Fire Spin, and we are loaded on energy. We will see the Wigglytuff come back in. Now I'm going to go for Shadow Bone here, and I'm going against what I always do, which is going for Fire Blast, and it backfires. I could have landed a free Fire Blast right there, so instead I have to go for double Shadow Bones now, and the only thing I can hope for is that they are extremely weak in the back to Chandelure, as I do get farmed down. Now, I'm going to come in with Tapu Fini, and it's a Victory Bell. Let's go. Surf is going to be caught right here by them, but it doesn't matter. Chandelure is going to teach Shadow Victory Bell who is king, as we farm down, and they surrender. So they went for, Well, actually, no, that was Shadow Granbull was the game before. But we were able to take that down. That was a very fun team to face off against for my team, obviously. Good game. All right, we got Tapu Fini versus Talonflame here on the lead, and a Credilli once again. So we got to come in with a Alolan Marowak. Now we know in this matchup that Rock Slide cannot one-shot, so we can safely no-shield the first one. And remember, because Bullet Seed is resisted, they really can't farm us down. So we're going to be able to control the pace of this battle to an extent, as we can go ahead and go for Shadow Bone. They decide to let it go through, and we get a defense drop. So I'm going to go ahead and shield, and I want to try to take Switch here. Now, they went for Grass Knot there, and I thought that's interesting, because now I'm going to be forced to double shield here. I guess it wouldn't matter. I would have double shielded anyways if they went for double Rock Slide. So it ultimately didn't matter. But we will see Talonflame come back in. Now, the reason why I went for hard switch, and I said this before, if you go into down shields, but I instantly swap into Chandelure here into the Ferrothorn, and that is, well, that's going to be a good game. Got lucky there, obviously. If it was something that was a counter, it's all over, right? Because we gave up shields, but ultimately, this is going to be a good game. We can go for Shadow Ball here. I probably should have just gone for back-to-back Flame Charge, but that's okay. We can go for another Shadow Ball just to get the final shield. And then Talonflame, interestingly enough, Brave Bird is on the menu here. But we have Switch. I think we have no, we don't have Switch Clock just yet. No, it's not up just yet. And they do get to the charge move, unfortunately. So this is going to be the Brave Bird, but Tapu Fini doesn't care. It survives. And we're going to be water gunning down. Were you worried? No, you weren't worried. You weren't worried. Good game. All right, moving into the next one, unless that was the final battle. Nope, we got a couple more. How many more we got? This might be the last one. Yes, Araquanid here on the lead. So we're going to go ahead and swap into Alolan Marowak, and we draw out a Shadow Drapion. So Shadow Drapion, obviously, a nice mid-game matchup for us because of the neutral damage that we can do. But, right, Aquatail, and Crunch do super effective damage. Now we're going to go ahead and go for Shadow Bones. Even though this is resisted, I am concerned, and we get a shield, I am concerned about the spam from Aquatail. So this is going to be totally fine. We can let this go through, as Aquatail now is going to be taking us out. Boom, down we go. Tapu Fini now. The question is, do they have Sludge Bomb? That is the big question, because if it's Aquatail and Crunch, we have no need to worry. But I am concerned about the potential Shadow Sludge Bomb, so I decided to shield it. It is Crunch, which is fine. This allows me now to safely farm down. And let's see what's going to be coming in. It's going to be Dugong. Okay, so we have the team. It's Araquanid and Dugong now left in this game, which means Chandelure is going to be doing a lot of neutral damage. And thankfully, right here, Moonblast in this matchup does a lot as well. And we can safely no-shield. There is nothing that we need to worry about. Drill Run will do neutral damage, but we should be able to get to another Moonblast in time. We're going to go ahead and go for the Surf, though. I'm looking to get the shield bait potentially and try to go for another one right away. So we do. They decide to no-shield. I'm like, that is bold by them. But I'm going to go ahead and trust in Chandelure to sweep, because the only thing I have to worry about now is going to be Bubble Beam from Araquanid. So we're going to go ahead and go for Flame Charge here. Yes, I could go for Shadow Ball, but ultimately going for Flame Charges and boosting our attack over and over is going to be the better call. We get a shield anyways, which is perfect. Now, the last charge move left in this game, yes, there is Drill Run on Dugong, but the Bubble Beam on Araquanid, there is Drill Run, but they don't have the energy for it. The Bubble Beam is what's going to be hurting. As you guys can see, it does a good amount of damage, but thankfully, because of the boost and the Bubble Beam debuff, it kind of neutralizes the Shadow Ball, which barely is not enough to KO, but it's perfect enough to farm down. And now we have a Flame Charge ready to go for Dugong. So that is going to be a good game. Very well played. This team was so much fun to use. I absolutely love using Chandelure and Alolan Marowak in the right situations. And today it did very well for me. And once again, you guys saw Credilli is something that's tough to deal with, and the Unova Stunfisk. And then those two together is obviously very tough to deal with. But overall, pretty fun team. And I just had a blast. Literally, fire blast. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.